Caleb Williams is in the best position of any number one pick in NFL draft history. I believe Caleb Williams enters his rookie season with the best weapons around him and the most talented roster overall of any quarterback picked number one overall in NFL history. I said this on draft day and have been working on this video for well over a month now. The national media has came out with multiple stories recently. They seem to have caught on. The last 15 quarterbacks taken number one overall all lost their first start. Only twice in NFL history has a team with the number one pick made the playoffs that season. Only one time in NFL history was that team led by a QB drafted with the number one overall pick. That was Andrew Luck, who went 11-5 as a rookie with an NFL record 7 game-winning drives. The other time was in 1983 when John Elway's Denver Broncos went to the playoffs with a 9-7 record. However, Elway himself was not the reason for that, and he was not the quarterback all season long. The team was 5-1 without John Elway starting. He went 4-6 his rookie year, but the team still made the playoffs. The only other time that a team with the number one pick has even went 500 was the Bengals in 2003. They took Carson Palmer, number one overall, and finished with an 8-8 record. Not too shabby. The problem is John Kitna was the starting quarterback all year. Carson Palmer did not play as a rookie. The thing is, rookie quarterbacks, especially ones that get taken with the number one pick, historically have not gotten off to fast starts in the NFL. There's a big reason for that. Teams that have the number one pick are usually pretty bad, and those guys don't have a talented roster around them. You have to be the worst team in the NFL to get the number one overall pick, unless you're the Chicago Bears and you get it by fleecing another franchise in a trade the previous year. That is what is different about this year's number one pick. Caleb Williams enters a unique position. I believe he has the most talented roster around him of any number one pick in NFL history, as well as the best weapons around him on offense. If the Chicago Bears win just 8 games this year with Caleb Williams, it'll be the second most by a number one pick in NFL history. Second most, just 8 games. If we make the playoffs this year, it'll be just the third time in NFL history that a team with the number one pick accomplished that feat. So far, Andrew Luck is the only number one pick in history to lead his team there as a week one starter. Caleb Williams has a chance to join that elite company. And honestly, even though it does seem crazy from an outside perspective, Caleb is going to be in a much better position than Andrew Luck was when he did it in Indianapolis. Let's go ahead, dig into that, and check it out. Here's a side-by-side look at both offenses. When you look at them, it looks like the Bears have a huge advantage at the running back position, and the Bears have a lot more talented receivers. Looks like they also have better tight ends as well. Even when you look at the offensive line, yes, the Colts had a young left tackle, but the rest of the line was pretty much patchwork. The biggest difference between the two situations is the Colts did have some stability and team success before they drafted Andrew Luck. The Colts had won at least 10 games for 9 straight seasons before they landed that number one pick. Peyton Manning was a huge part of that. What happened was he hurt his neck, missed an entire season, and things fell apart in 2011. The Colts went 2-14, landed the number one pick, and chose to move on with Andrew Luck. He would come in and replace Peyton Manning, but he entered a stable environment with decent weapons on offense. Andrew Luck was still sacked a whopping 41 times as a rookie. The beating he took during his short NFL career caused him to retire at the ripe age of just 29, after being sacked 174 times. Now, if we look back over the last couple of years, the Bears haven't had that much of a better position on the offensive line. Justin Fields was actually on track to get sacked more times than Andrew Luck did, but Ryan Poles has been hard at work at stabilizing this offensive line. Andrew Luck never won a Super Bowl, but he was a 4-time Pro Bowler, and he accomplished something that no other QB taken number one overall has been able to do. lead his team to the playoffs in year one as a rookie. Andrew Luck is the only guy to do that. And I just explained how Caleb has a more talented offense around him than what Luck had as a rookie. But let's also mention that he has a better defense around him as well, easily, if you ask me. But let's go one step further. Let's go ahead and examine Caleb's weapons against other quarterbacks taken number one overall so you can see just how great of a situation that Ryan Poles has put Caleb Williams in. Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison and Marshall Faulk, but that was about it. Jared Goff had Todd Gurley and a receiver trio that could work at Home Depot right now. I'm kidding, but his offense was not stacked in any way, shape, or form. What about Matt Stafford? He at least had Megatron, but honestly, not much else. What about Bryce Young? Oof. He had Adam Thielen and a group of misfits that really didn't help him out too much. Baker Mayfield at least had Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, and David Njoku, but still, not even close to the talent that Caleb has around him as a rookie. What about what Eli Manning had with the Giants? Amani Toomer, Ike Hilliard, Jeremy Shockey, and Tiki Barber? Honestly, Eli's supporting cast is up there with the best of the bunch, but he still went 1-6 as a rookie before breaking out in year two and going 11-5. Just more and more examples of how hard it has been for QBs taken number one overall to succeed as rookies in the NFL. But I'm not done yet. Let's look at Trevor Lawrence, who didn't have much help as a rookie either, leading him to go 3-14 and land the Jags back-to-back number one picks. Lawrence has went 17-16 in years 2 and 3, still waiting for Trevor to break out. Then we get to Jameis Winston, who actually had some talented weapons on offense, but still only won 6 games his rookie year, falling to 6-10. However, the talent around him helped Jameis pass for over 4,000 yards his rookie season. He threw 22 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Caleb has better weapons than Jameis did. So when you think about that, it's not crazy to think that Caleb could throw for 4,000 yards as a rookie, something that's never happened in Chicago Bears history. And Jameis Winston did it in 16 games. The NFL has added an extra game, so Caleb could get 17 games with better weapons on offense. So while normally putting those kind of expectations on any rookie quarterback would be crazy, Caleb Williams is not just any rookie quarterback, and he's entering arguably the best position of any QB picked number one overall ever has in NFL history. And that's all thanks to Ryan Poles and the Carolina Panthers, and we'll throw Lovie Smith in there as well. Hey, thanks again, Lovie. But let's go ahead and compare his situation versus the last two quarterbacks the Chicago Bears took in the first round. That would be Justin Fields and Mitch Trubisky. Fields had an awful offensive line, but actually had some decent weapons on offense, even though Cole Kmet hadn't broken out yet, and Allen Robinson was just a shell of his former self. But Mitch, looking at what Mitch Trubisky had, oh my goodness, he had no help at all. What was Ryan Pace even doing? Just look at the lack of talent around him. It was actually gross. I kind of feel bad for Mitch, and that's with Matt Nagy as a play caller. But the point I'm trying to make here is that Caleb Williams has the most talented group of playmakers around him of any quarterback drafted number one overall in NFL history. Ryan Poles has done an incredible job at setting this up. Caleb Williams enters his rookie season with a top 10 defense that could vault into a top 5 unit this year. He also has an up-and-coming offensive line that is better than anything the Bears have had in a long, long time. So historically, when you look back at it, rookie quarterbacks, especially guys taken number one overall, typically do not have much success in their rookie seasons. The last 15 quarterbacks taken number one overall all started their careers with losses. Only one QB taken number one overall in NFL history has led his team to the playoffs starting every game. It is not crazy to think that Caleb Williams could be the second guy to ever do that. Yes, that's a ton of pressure to put on the guy, but he's already expected to be the first quarterback in Bears history to throw for 4,000 plus yards and break this curse that has lasted my entire lifetime. But now, I'm saying he could also break more curses, like the 0-15 record of the last 15 guys taken number one overall before him, or becoming the only QB other than Andrew Luck to ever lead his team to the playoffs as a rookie. Yes, I'm saying that. But I'm also adding context here because Caleb doesn't have to be as good as Andrew Luck was. But it's simply a fact that Caleb Williams is entering the best situation ever for a quarterback drafted with the number one overall pick. And that is what is special here. The Bears are different than almost every team that has ever taken a QB number one overall. We were not the worst team in the NFL last year. The Panthers were. We just had their pick. So we already presented Caleb with a unique situation just by being better than most teams that take QBs number one overall. But then Ryan Poles went out of his way to further improve that situation and put Caleb in the absolute best position to succeed starting off as a rookie. I got to applaud Ryan Poles, to be honest. The Bears were entering the most important offseason in team history, and Ryan Poles had a clear vision and pulled off probably the biggest and boldest offseason in Chicago Bears history. While he didn't get much value for trading away Justin Fields, he managed to do everything in his power to make sure Caleb Williams has every chance to succeed in the NFL. He started by solidifying the interior of the offensive line, which has been a problem for a long time for the Bears. Signing Coleman Shelton and trading for Ryan Bates, hopefully he's found an answer at the position. He then went out of his way to not only just upgrade our wide receiver position, but turn it into one of the most talented units in the entire NFL by not only trading for Keenan Allen, but also drafting Rome Odunze to go with DJ Moore. But he wasn't done there. He signed DeAndre Swift at running back, Gerald Everett at tight end, and even all-pro safety Kevin Byard to shore up the defense. But perhaps the biggest investment in this offense was landing the best offensive coordinator that was on the market this offseason, if you ask me, in Shane Waldron, a guy who has already worked with Caleb Williams for years at the QB Collective, and he has plenty of experience actually calling plays at the NFL level. What we've been asking for. He's also had success as a play caller, but that's just a bonus. On top of that, Shane Waldron is a guy who builds his system around the players and the talent that he already has on the roster. In the past, we've had guys like Matt Nagy and Luke Getsy who seem so stuck in their ways, and they try to change their players to fit their schemes. And we've all seen firsthand how that worked out. Literally everything is different about the Bears now. Not only is Caleb Williams entering easily the best position that any quarterback drafted by the Bears ever has, but he's entering arguably the best situation ever for any rookie quarterback and easily for any quarterback that was taken number one overall. So yes, rookie quarterbacks, especially guys taken with the number one pick, usually struggle in their first season. But this situation is not like those situations. So you have to look at this one outside the box. And we've also seen other rookie quarterbacks, when they enter better situations, guys such as CJ Stroud and Ben Roethlisberger, they've had a ton of success as rookies. One of the biggest problems with the rookies that struggle is they usually don't have much talent around them. Ryan Poles has made sure that was not the case for Caleb Williams, and he's put him in a position to succeed right away as a rookie. That doesn't mean there won't still be growing pains or ups and downs, especially early on. It's okay to have high expectations for this team's future, starting as early as 2024. But it's okay if Caleb Williams and the offense get off to a slow start or we don't make the playoffs in year one. Most quarterbacks make their biggest jump from year one to year two. So next year is when our expectations should really begin to go crazy. But there's no reason to think we can't start winning games as early as this season. Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham have done a tremendous job of turning this franchise around and putting us in a position to not only start winning, but to build sustained success at the NFL level. Ryan Poles has talked about taking the North and never giving it back. This is what he was talking about. That is the kind of team that he is building, and it starts this season. The future of this organization and the rebuild that I've talked about for almost 3 years now is finally nearing completion. But Ryan Poles isn't going to stop. He's going to continue adding to this roster. We have 3 picks in the first 2 rounds next year and could have 5 picks in the first 3. And I'm not saying we will win the North this year, but I do think we should be competing for the North and playing meaningful football games in December. And that's something special in Chicago that we haven't had for a long time. And then next year, when you're looking at 2025 and beyond, this team's Super Bowl window should be wide open for 4 straight years. And I just can't even believe I'm even saying those words, but it's true. That's how far this team has come. That's what Ryan Poles has done to this roster, and that's how high my expectations are going forward. I appreciate everybody who watches. I put a ton of time into researching this video and writing it up. I've actually been working on it since before we even drafted Caleb, well over a month ago. So thanks again to everybody who watches. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button for me. Turn those notifications on. Stay tuned. And until next time, bear down.